Hello, my name is Mitch with Right Angle Communications, and this is the NVR setup demonstration. In this video, we'll go over 5 easy steps to set up your NVR system. First, we'll go over the materials provided to set up our NVR system. After that, we'll initialize an IP camera. Following that, we will configure our NVR system. Then, we can add a camera to the NVR system. And finally, we'll go over playback and some tricks and tips to optimize your NVR system. First, we'll start off with the equipment provided to set up our NVR. We'll have the hard drive, our hard drive power cable, our hard drive data cable, our USB mouse, our Ethernet network cable, our NVR power cable, and of course the NVR itself. Now that we have a complete understanding of the materials provided for our NVR setup, we can move along to the camera initialization. To initialize our camera, we'll need 2 patch cables, a PoE injector, and a computer for setup. First, we'll plug our camera into the patch cable leading into the PoE injector power side. From the PoE injector LAN side, we'll be plugging our patch cable into the PC for setup. Now that our camera is powered up and the PC is communicating, we're ready to initialize. First, we'll select the camera in the top left corner. From there, we'll assign a secure, strong password, which will contain 8 characters with at least 1 uppercase, 1 lowercase, and 1 number included in the password. Now that we've inputted a strong password, we can select Activate at the bottom of the screen, and a confirmation window will appear. We have now activated our device, and from here we can answer some security questions. I'll be putting in some generic answers. I suggest you select the questions carefully and input the answers carefully. From there, we'll select Confirm at the bottom of the screen. A notification window will appear confirming all of our questions. At this point, we are ready to add the camera onto our NVR system. Now that our IP camera has been initialized, we're ready to set up and configure our NVR system. The first step for setting up and configuring our NVR will be installing the hard drive. We'll gain access by removing 2 screws from the back of the NVR and install the hard drive. Now that we have the cover removed from our NVR, we'll be able to install our hard drive. This NVR here is capable of holding up to 4 hard drives, given the mounting locations provided inside. We'll be installing our hard drive in this location here, given the hardware provided. Now with the hard drive in position, we'll turn the NVR up on its side and mount the hardware to the hard drive. Now that we have our hard drive mounted, we can use our hard drive power cable. We'll be plugging that in on this end of the hard drive. And then our hard drive data cable, which will go near the center here and also to the motherboard of our NVR. Now that we have the hard drive mounted and our connections made, we can now reinstall the cover to our NVR. Now that we have the hard drive installed and the cover back on our NVR, we're ready to make some connections. First, we'll start with our power connection, going into the back of the NVR over here. The other end, just your 3-prong wall outlet, will go into a wall. Following that, we'll use our USB mouse, plug in to this port down at the bottom over here. And finally, our video input will come from this HDMI cable, which we'll plug in the bottom port of our HDMI connection, HDMI 1. The other end of our HDMI cable will go into the monitor. We can now power on our NVR by flipping the switch located underneath the main power. As the NVR is booting up, it'll show a notification screen signifying that the system is starting. Initially, you will be prompted to select a system language. Use the drop-down tab to select your preferred language and then select Apply. After selecting your preferred language, you'll be required to set up a resolution for your monitor. Our monitor will request 1920 by 1080 to achieve the best display quality. Once the desired resolution has been set, you can begin the activation process. From here, we'll be giving the NVR a specific password. We recommend using the same password used in the initialization of the camera in all fields. Select OK to confirm your password at the bottom of the screen. A prompt will then appear requesting a valid email. Please input your email and select OK. Next, we will set an unlock pattern. From here, you'll use the mouse to click and drag a specific pattern, and then a second time to confirm. The next page will set our system's date and time. From here, we'll use the drop-down tab to select the corresponding time zone that we're in, followed by the date format, whatever preference you prefer, and then verify the system date and time is correct. From there, we'll select Next in the bottom right corner. The following step is network setup. We will not be connecting the system to a network in this demonstration. Please select Next in the bottom right corner. To perform the hard drive initialization, select the box on the left-hand side representing the uninitialized hard drive. On the right-hand side, select Initialize. Progress will be shown in the status column. The camera setup screen appears next. We will perform this step once the NVR is fully configured. Select Next in the bottom right corner. After the camera setup page, Platform Access appears. Since our system is not networked, we will not be using this feature. Select Next in the bottom right corner. Our NVR configuration is now complete. Select Finish in the bottom right corner. Now that we have our NVR set up and configured, we're ready to add our IP camera to the system. We will now plug our camera into port 1 on the back of our NVR and wait for signification of connection with activity lights. As our camera is powering up, on the NVR home screen, we'll select the camera icon at the top of the screen. I prefer the list view. From here, we'll be able to watch our status column and confirm that the camera has been detected and connected to the system. Once the blue play icon appears in the status column, select it and confirm that you have quality video coming from your camera. If so, you now have a camera configured and added to your NVR system. To give our camera a name, we'll use the Display tab in the camera settings. We will name ours Front Door in this scenario. Also, we will change the time format from 24-hour military time to our standard 12-hour AM/PM format. Once you have completed your selection, select Apply at the bottom of the screen. You'll notice the camera name and the time settings will change. From here, we will configure our storage settings to optimize hard drive space. Select the storage icon to the right of the camera icon at the top of the screen. Then select the green motion box and highlight the entire week. Once the entire week is green, select Apply. With the camera added, we now have a complete NVR system. But before we finalize this demonstration, let's go over playback and some tricks and tips to optimize your NVR experience. We can now confirm our settings by using the playback function located at the top left of the screen. Select the play icon, then from there, on the left-hand side, select our camera along with the date desired for playback. Playback speed can be adjusted at the bottom of the screen to the right of the play button. The speed will be displayed in between the fast forward and rewind buttons. You can navigate through your footage when using the thumbnails created while hovering over the timeline. One more feature to the NVR is the digital zoom. This can be enabled by hovering above the timeline play symbol. You can use the scroll wheel on the mouse to zoom in and out. You can also click and drag on the mouse to pinpoint an area of interest. Once again, my name is Mitch with Right Angle Communications, and I'd like to thank you for watching. I hope you can use this video in the future as a reference for setting up and configuring an NVR system.